Welcome, AMKS listeners. It's been a minute since I've been on. Went to California and back. Craziness is happening all over the world. I've traveled all through all the states except for Florida and New Orleans. But from the Midwest to California and back, I've traveled. Welcome to my show. Ready? Here we go.
Due to mature subject matter, viewer discretion is advised.
Many of the prosecutions carried out under Obama separated families or placed children in the care of child molesters. Where was the liberal outcry then?
Sins of the world. Sins of the world. Sins of the world. Matthew 24:12. Sins of the world. Just as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be again in the days of coming of man. How, Father, can I reach them, Father?
The media tirade against President Trump is reaching new levels as Democrats and Hollywood activists protest the separation of children from their families at the border. But celebrities and the political elite are rushing to condemn President Trump for policies that he didn't write or pass, policies that have actually been the law in America for decades. Not only that, but the media and politicians like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are silent on the fact that President Obama held more than double the number of children in shelters during his administration.
President Trump, if you're truly ashamed of what's happening at the border, get your team together and undo this shameful policy immediately, which you can do with a flick of the pen.
In fact, while Obama was in office in 2011, he separated nearly 7,000 children from their parents, housing them in temporary shelters. And in 2013, that number quadrupled, with human rights champion Barack Obama detaining a whopping 25,000 children, isolating them and separating them from the adults they arrived with. Those numbers come right from the U.S. Health and Human Services Office of Refugee and Resettlement, the ORR. With migration reaching crisis levels, the children were forced to sleep in prison-like conditions, in cages, and on concrete floors. All of this under President Obama. These are the pictures the mainstream media won't show you. Pictures of how refugee children were treated by the Obama administration. These were taken in 2014 at Obama's detention facility in Brownsville, Texas, and Nogales, Arizona. Pictures you'll never see on CNN. Furthermore, President Obama failed to protect these children from child predators and placed them in the care of human traffickers and child molesters. The HHS failed to do even basic background checks on the adults who came to claim the children. In fact, government caseworkers only visited 5% of these children once they were moved to new homes. As a result, sponsors were able to make off with numerous children they had no relation to. Again, under President Obama. In just one example, 8 children ended up in Marion, Ohio, where they were forced to work in slave-like conditions on an egg farm. In another case, a Guatemalan boy was sent to live with his uncle in Virginia, but when that uncle refused him, the boy's sponsor forced him to work 12 hours a day to repay a $10,000 smuggling debt. And another boy begged caseworkers not to give him to his father, who he said beat him. But officials under Obama ignored the request, and the boy was later found in a basement being starved. Over 125,000 unaccompanied minors have been smuggled into the U.S. since 2011, with many being delivered by government agents directly into the hands of abusive human traffickers. This all happened under President Obama as a result of too little precaution.
Let's not forget Hillary Clinton, John Baptiste, and the PDO Pizzagate fucking foundation.
Liberals and the media would rather see children end up as slaves than give Trump any credit. And Nancy Pelosi, who defended President Obama's immigration policies, is now calling President Trump's actions a form of child abuse. Apparently, Pelosi doesn't consider giving children to actual human traffickers or allowing them to be molested child abuse, as long as it's done by a Democrat.
Simply, children do not belong in an immigration jail. That's just the way it is. or in detention on military bases is what they have in mind.
That's interesting, because in 2013 and 14, that's exactly where President Obama put them, at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. Obama prosecuted over 500,000 illegal aliens, and President Bush did the same thing. This isn't something new. Many of the prosecutions carried out under Obama separated families or placed children in the care of child molesters. Where was the liberal outcry then?
Now, Time magazine is pushing back against criticism over its July cover, which shows a crying toddler in front of President Trump. Time magazine is defending the decision of the Photoshop picture, which you can see on the screen, despite the fact the girl was never separated from her family. The magazine also falsely reported within the magazine that the girl was split up from her mother. Time has been widely criticized for the cover, but said in a statement the cover and reporting captures the stakes of the moment. The magazine did correct its false report, saying the toddler and her mom were loaded into a vehicle together.
Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood dominating the competition at the Girls Track and Field Championships in Connecticut earlier this month, coming in first and second place respectively. And while it was a state race, their wins are making national headlines, not because of what they did, but because of who they are, two transgender girls. When was the first time that either of you found any kind of opposition to you participating on the girls' team?
I was expecting it, so every day I'll go home, search up Track and Field High School, Terry Miller.
Because you wanted to know what people were saying?
Yeah.
Some of those comments were harsh. Critics complaining that Andrea and Terry both have an unfair advantage since they were born boys. At what point do you decide, actually, it's more appropriate for me to be on the girls' team and competing with other girls?
I decided that the summer before 9th grade.
They've both started hormone therapy and say that for the most part they've been welcomed by friends, family, coaches, and administrators with open arms. But there is some backlash from parents and students. 2 petitions were even started in an attempt to change the current rule of the state's governing body of interscholastic sports. The rule states that students are entitled to participate on a team based on their gender identity, how they identify.
The girls athletes are at the physical disadvantage compared to the transgender female.
Bianca Stanescu started one of those petitions after her daughter Selena lost to Andrea and Terry at a track meet in May.
They have naturally testosterone within their body that has been proven to give a physical advantage in sports.
The mom, who was unaware that the girls were already undergoing hormone therapy, has gotten a little over 100 signatures. Medical science tells us that estrogen hormone therapy does change the body, replacing some lean muscle with fat. But of course, everyone is different. Andrea's parents say what's most important to them is the well-being of their child.
Track is number 100 on my list of concerns as a father of a transgender daughter. I'm talking about raising a child for a life. And so is it fair that that child is excluded? Is it fair that that child doesn't feel like they have a place to belong?
It allows her to be who she wants to be, and I think that has a little bit more weight than just winning a medal.
Medical research cannot really identify the line where a competitive advantage might exist for trans athletes of either gender. What do you want to say to other transgender youth, young people, teens who are out there really struggling through this process?
Just follow your heart. Like, don't let other people determine what you do in life.
Let's just play devil's advocate for a moment and just imagine that you were both born girls and then all of a sudden you had 2 boys who identified as being girls and they said, hey, we're going to be on your team, and maybe now you're not performing as well because they are better.
I'm not going to discourage you or try to say, oh, it's not fair. And it would just push me to run faster. I'd be happy for them because they get to do what they want. They're happy, so then that should in turn make me happy. And they're brave. They're just different from everybody.
German authorities found evidence Wednesday, June 20th, that a Tunisian man previously arrested plotted a biological attack on the country. According to Holger Mike, head of the Federal Criminal Police Office, very concrete preparations had been made for an act with a biological bomb, which is a first.
So let's just stop there. This is all kinds of craziness happening in our world. So as I traveled across the United States, my feet became cankles. You know, they weren't ankles anymore. I'm still like off my feet. I can't even play guitar right now because I'm laid up with my feet up in the air. Are you okay, Marcelino? Marcelino? Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm talking to homie on Xbox.
Okay, here, take this from me.
Oh, that's why you called me up in here?
No, honey, I just heard you start fighting.
My ass,
I'm online. You want to keep talking? You know, you're looking crazy.
Hey, what's good? iHeartRadio, all y'all niggas.
So, very concentrated preparations have been made to act with a biological bomb, which is in Germany at first, you know. So, like, I was looking for the signs at the time. In New Mexico, there was these beautiful pink clouds. You could see it. And I could see the other planet right next to the sun. I was showing my son, but he's so busy texting.
Police raided the apartment of 29-year-old Tunisian migrant known only as Saif Allah H. in Cologne, Germany on June 12th. They discovered a lethal poison made from castor beans called ricin and objects used to make bombs. Bill Daily reported that local authorities were tipped off by the CIA, which was monitoring his online purchases. According to authorities, Saif bought over 1,000 castor beans and searched for online instructions on how to make ricin.
A California man dying of cancer just appeared in court claiming a popular weed killer made him sick. In the first case of its kind to reach trial, Dwayne Johnson is suing Monsanto, the maker of Roundup. The 46-year-old blames his 2014 cancer diagnosis on Roundup's active ingredient, glyphosate. He's one of the thousands of people nationwide reportedly accusing Monsanto of failing to, quote, exercise reasonable care to warn of the dangerous risks associated with use and exposure to glyphosate.
New research suggests more mentally ill rough sleepers are dying in London compared to nearly 10 years ago. A report published June 19th by St. Mungo's Homeless Charity assessed homelessness deaths and what is being done about them. The report focuses on people with mental health issues and suggests 80% of homeless people who died in London in 2017 suffered from mental health problems. This number has increased by 29% since...
Okay, let's talk about that too. Like when I traveled, you know, I went to LA. I was stuck in LA for like 4 hours, you know, and I went outside, you know. And I was outside the bus station, you know, downtown in LA, you know. And we were outside rapping, blowing. Can you fix my blanket? Can fix my blanket in my door, please? Fix my blanket in my door, please. Close my door a little bit. Don't turn it up so loud.
Right there?
Yeah. Where's my kitty? My kitty?
She's right there in the box. Look to the left.
Oh, she's in my box?
She's right there where you close her.
Okay.
Look.
Okay.
Here?
Yeah. So, like, my kitty. So, and I was looking at the mental health status across the United States. Now, I'm in Granite City, Illinois. And they, you know, they like the people in the mental health place over here. My feet are cold. I want to put you in the mental health status here. But let's listen.
2010. Also since 2010, the number of people sleeping rough in England has risen by 169%. The charity is calling on UK Prime Minister Theresa May to take urgent action to prevent more people from dying. It says the government needs to invest in specialist support, and mental health services need to actively target rough sleepers. A spokesperson for the homeless charity Crisis told The Guardian, quote, in 21st century Britain, nobody should be dying on our streets.
It's technology that could help you say goodbye to those long lines to get into the ballpark. 12 stadiums across the country brought in Clear, the same biometric technology that allows you to skip the line at the airport and sail through security.
Stadiums look a lot like airports. You have tens of thousands of people coming in a short period of time.
The move sparked in part by rising security concerns after terror attacks at stadiums in Manchester and Paris. For fans, this means no need to present ID. Your driver's license replaced by a fingerprint scan. When Clear confirms your identity, you skip the line. And Ticketmaster will soon roll out new facial recognition technology that would scan your face as soon as you enter some venues. It saves you from having to present a ticket, and security officials would have a picture of every person at the venue. But privacy advocates warn you're giving up unique personal data. How can a consumer be sure that it's a safe gamble to give up your biometric information?
There are always risks in presenting and giving your personally identifiable information to a third-party service provider.
Wow. Jesus Christ died for you.
It's one of Japan's oldest professions. Known as the flower and willow world, it's shrouded in secrecy and mystery. At just 15 years old, Yukina has chosen to leave mainstream society and embark on the training to become a maiko, or apprentice geisha. Yukina's moved 350 miles from her family home in northern Japan to the city of Kyoto to pursue her dream of becoming a maiko.
I've never been to a big city before. When I got here, I was so shocked and overwhelmed.
It's the first time she's been away from home.
It's so different. Like at home, I spent my time playing in the fields with my friends. I didn't even go shopping with my friends. I didn't go shopping with my friends.
Despite being just 15, she's quit school and decided to immerse herself in the ancient world of the geisha. She arrived in Kyoto 2 months ago and has 4 months left to complete her training before she'll take an exam to see if she's accepted as a trainee geisha or maiko.
最初はそのテレビを見て踊ってたんです舞妓さんがすごく上手に踊ってたんですよやっぱりあんなに上手くなれたらかっこいいなって思って惹かれました。
Yukina lives in an okiya or geisha house in the old part of the city, along with more senior trainee maikos. But the job is not all dancing and glamour for Yukina yet. It will be a long time before she'll be allowed to meet customers. But her senior sisters from the okiya, Kikumaru and Kikuno, are out entertaining. Yukina, as the youngest trainee in the okiya, must stay at home and clean and do chores for her older sisters. Geisha, or geiko as they are called in Kyoto, are the highest class of entertainers in Japan. Adept to the traditional arts of song and dance, a maiko must spend 5 years entertaining before they can reach this status.
うちの世界にこういう独特な格好もさせてもらってますし、またそういうところとはちょっと別でお座敷に来てくれてはるっていう風に思ってくれはったらいいと思います。私にはちょっと考えられないくらい厳しい世界が厳しいことがいっぱい待ってるんだなって思います。ドキドキするし正直本当に怖い。
13日、はいはい。The okiya is
how the world will end. Ways to protect yourself from negative Drecke. Monsters caught on camera. Aliens, fallen angels. World War III update. Z, U.S. The things that people are talking about. Kevin and it's Pope Francis, Queen Elizabeth's arrest. Let's listen to this. This is something right here. Queen Elizabeth the
Well,
Vatican.
welcome, Kevin. We're with Kevin Annett, the Secretary of the International Tribunal into Crimes of Church and State. And there have been some momentous events since we last had you here for our update. We've had the departure of one pope, which you've demonstrated was more probably than not, there's very good evidence, was on the basis of the actions by the tribunal, and perhaps you'll explain that during this interview. And we've had the advent of a new pope who's a Jesuit pope, and a lot of anomalies there, and we want to hear about your plans. So why don't we start with the departure of the old pope and the role that the tribunal played in that?
Well, yeah, it was quite interesting the way it all played out, Alfred, because as viewers probably know, for a number of years I've been working in Europe with human rights groups, lawyers, and even a couple of governments in Europe, showing and sharing with them our evidence, not only about genocide in Canada, perpetrated by the Vatican and the Crown of England and other churches here, but also the direct links of Joseph Ratzinger, the former Pope Benedict, to ordering the cover-up of these crimes. And the more notorious example is when Ratzinger, on 2 occasions, actually in writing ordered bishops in Ireland and in America to not disclose to the police evidence of child trafficking, not simply rape by individual priests, but actual child trafficking networks that exist within the Vatican. We know when William Lynn, a bishop in Philadelphia, was convicted, that child trafficking by over a quarter of the priests in the Philadelphia diocese was documented. So we had the goods on Joseph Ratzinger, and we were sharing that with various governments. Over the last few months, we've established a common law court case online, which people can view at itccs.org.
itccs.org.
Included the case, the presentation of the evidence showing these crimes of genocide by church and state. The verdict actually came in February 25th, and very soon after that, one of the governments in Europe that we've been working with sent a diplomatic note to Cardinal Bertoni's office, the Secretary of State's office in the Vatican, claiming that they were planning to issue an arrest warrant on the basis of a court case that they had entered based on our evidence and other material showing that the Pope was implicated in these crimes. Well, within 6 days of them receiving that note, Ratzinger resigned. And it was directly because of that. We know that because recently, just within the last 3 days, members of our network in Italy have actually delivered the verdict of the court and the citizen's arrest warrant issued against 30 of these defendants. And when they delivered it to the Swiss Guards and to the Vatican Secretary of State's office just 2 days ago in Rome, they were told by a very irate bureaucrat in the Vatican that, well, you've already done this to one pope. Are you going to try this on Francis I as well? So they themselves are acknowledging that they know very well it was because of that evidence that we brought out. And as for the latest pope, I mean, it was very interesting, not only because he's the first Jesuit in papal history to occupy the throne, if you like, but his own history is so tainted. I mean, he was an advisor to the Argentine military dictator Jorge Videla in the 1970s during the Dirty War that claimed the lives of over 30,000 Argentinians. As bishop and then later Cardinal Bergoglio, Francis I knew of the death and murders going on in the jails of Jorge Videla. He was offering him advice about how to improve his public image. And he even knew that several of his own priests who were involved with the poor in the slums of Buenos Aires had been captured, tortured, and were on the verge of being executed by the Argentine junta. He turned a blind eye and basically said, do whatever you want to these left-wing priests. Now, I mean, that, and as well as the fact that he was implicated directly in the kidnapping of the children of political prisoners and then trafficking them through the Catholic Church networks, as happened in Spain and many other countries. All of this shows that this man is directly implicated in crimes against humanity. So a similar arrest warrant was issued for Pope Francis I by our court on March 12th.
Okay, school is definitely in, guys. If you are wearing your veil and you have not heard anything these people are saying, then I don't know what you're talking about, what you're listening to, what you're doing with your lives anymore, because life is just not there. Now, this is shit that's been repetitively on YouTube, repetitively on TV. Chemtrails, the Mongolian disease, or Mongolias. I don't even know how to say it. Life is too much, man. Life is too much. They want World War III. They want to call destruction down upon us, on our heads. Oh, I'm so tired. You gotta forgive me. This is AMKS, Goddess Radio. I just wanted to get it out there because I haven't been out for a while, guys. There you go.
Arrest warrants that are good for a year, and there have been numerous attempts to enforce these arrest warrants already, including in Canada.
Right. So now, these events have happened so rapidly. So, what are your plans now that you have sort of this the Ratzinger Pope going, and now the Vatican bringing forth Pope Francis the first Latin American Pope from Argentina? He has this history with the dirty war. He's now putting forth this image as the humble Jesus-like Pope. That is, he's forsaken the papal throne. He's not living in the palace. He's washing the feet of the juvenile kind of halfway house people. He's called for a poor church. Is this an act? Is this kind of a Jesuit Jedi move or what?
Yeah, it's damage control. It's like what any corporation does. They bring in the new guy, they do the spin operation, hoping that people's 3-minute memory will kick in. They're playing on the Oscar Romero image of the humble Latin American bishop. That's one of the reasons they put him in, for the public relations image. If he's sincere about turning the Vatican into the Church of the Poor, then I'm sure the first thing he'll do is sever ties with the mafia, disclose the real operations of the Vatican Bank, give away the property and the wealth, literally, of the church. But the point is, it's too late for any of that. The common law order against the church is that their property is forfeited already and is to be opened as public space. You see, when an organization like the Vatican commits so many heinous crimes and is found guilty under common law or under any court verdict, their property can be seized legally as reparations for the millions of people killed and harmed by the Roman Catholic Church. That's in the process of happening. There are already church occupations. I was just speaking to Stimas, who's a Squamish elder here in Vancouver, who's in the process of seeking a lien on all Catholic Church property on his territory. So, as happened in 2008, another Squamish elder, Capellano, issued a similar eviction order on the Catholic, Anglican, and United Churches in Vancouver. Stimas is going ahead and seeking that lien. So it doesn't really matter what kind of PR spin or what kind of gimmicks Pope Francis I does. Their property and wealth is already forfeited, and any citizen can legally claim that, especially the survivors of these horrible crimes, child trafficking, murder. When you look at any example like the Magdalen laundries in Ireland, where children were worked to death, literally, with the full knowledge of the Vatican, and those mass graves there are being covered up the same way they are in Canada. I mean, gestures don't make any difference to any of that. So I think, this will be proven in practice over the next few years.
Now that we're, I just might say that today is Good Friday, which is a high holy day in the Christian faith. What are your plans What are the plans of the tribunal now going into 2013? You've got various defendants. You've got the Vatican, the Pope, you've got the Queen.
What is the red room on the dark web?
Street smarts equal book smarts.
It's not easy getting a job for a woman your age.
Watch me. I'm gonna be your hero. Every manager at our company has a college degree.
The only thing stopping you is you.
Do you ever look at your life and wonder how you got there? If you make different choices, would you be happier?
Arthur got his MBA from Duke. He's the best man for the job.
No, sir. I am. I just wish we lived in a world where street smarts equal book smarts. School. The educated people in their fancy houses who name their kids after fruit and climb Kilimanjaro.
Somebody call for you. Something about a job interview?
Oh my God, Franklin and Clark?
Your resume interests me. Wharton Business School.
I'm sorry, what?
And, of course, you have got to see her Facebook page.
My Facebook page? Obama?
I gave you a completely new identity. You said you wanted to be fancy, so I just, Cinderella's your ass?
Well, I got you in the door. But you got the job, baby. Who's the champ? Let's go. Who's the champ? I'm the champ? You're the champ.
It's not easy getting a job for a woman your age.
Watch me. I'm gonna be your hero. Trying to save the day.
Okay. You need to wear anything other than that. You look like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Wow, this is my office? They gave you an apartment and credit cards?
I'm going to take these off your hand.
Don't you dare.
And I'm going to take these coasters.
Yo, baby pop.
You're going to come clean, right?
I can do this. Is that Maya Vargas? These are my friends from Wharton. Wharton.
We did some time in the Peace Corps together.
We save whales.
Don't confuse this Facebook thing with who you really are.
I really admire you. You're kind of who I want to be when I grow up.
You were always good enough. You're the only one that ever doubted it.
We're looking at a new Chinese distributor. The only employee we have who speaks Mandarin is me.
I got an idea. Our cat's veterinarian speaks Mandarin.
We would love to schedule a tour for you.
But we have to wait for the deal to be closed.
我觉得他非常自大。
哦，要挤他肛门线了。
要挤他的肛门线。
I like her.
No, I don't own that music. That was a shutdown for second act with Jennifer Lopez coming up. It seems like
नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप देख रहे हैं टेक्निकल सागर यूट्यूब चैनल। मेरा नाम है अभिषेक सागर और आज हम बात करने वाले हैं रेड रूम्स के बारे में। जी नहीं, ये वो एनिमेशन नहीं है जिसको देखने के बाद लोग आत्महत्या कर लेते हैं।
I don't know what he's saying.
ये एक ऐसा कमरा है, एक ऐसी वेबसाइट है जो डार्क वेब पर मिलती है। जी हाँ, डार्क वेब के बारे में मैंने ऑलरेडी आपको बताया है। पहले भी मैंने काफी वीडियोस बनाई हैं जहाँ पर डार्क वेब, मैरियानाज वेब, डीप वेब,
डार्क वेब, रेड रूम
डिफरेंस आपको बताया है। सरफेस वेब क्या होता है, ये सारी चीजें मैं आपको पहले ही समझा चुका हूँ। उस वीडियो का
investigation. Red Room Originals. Red Room original video. Off of dark web. 18 plus only, not for teens. It's got somebody dressed in some white cloak. The table's kind of blocking everything he's doing. Not quite sure what he's doing. Supposed to be from the dark web here. Really can't tell what he's doing. Really can't see what he's doing. Okay. It's in German. Some kind of experiments. Some experiments. Why I stopped using the deep web, the real red room, deep web videos you wanna forget. I found these videos on the dark deep web red room 2. What are the red rooms?
I love murder. Mysteries.
Warning. The following video is part of a series that is for educational purposes only. Please do not enter the deep web unless you know what you're doing. What's happening, guys? My name is Alex, and in this video, guys, I'm going to talk about red rooms. Now, what red rooms are, I'm going to switch to Tor browser in a second, but I'm going to explain what the red rooms are and if they are real or not. So make sure to smash the like button down below already. Let's get started with this deep web video, and let's go to Tor browser. Alright, guys, so as you guys can see, we are on Tor browser, and first of all, I'm going to go to the hidden wiki because that's actually like the portal of where you want to go. So I'm going to type in the search bar hidden wiki, and let's go there and let's see what we're going to end up with, because I just want to have like a hidden wiki page. So let me go to the hidden wiki real quick, and I'm on the hidden wiki, as you guys can see. So basically, guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to not search for it, because red rooms, I'm going to explain to you guys what red rooms are. Red rooms are basically live streams where you can watch people getting tortured or even murdered. I'm not kidding. You can even people, of course, they want like money, so you need to pay I don't know how much, but you pay, and then you can watch people like on a live stream dying or whatever. It is that sick, of course. So I'm not sure if this is real or not, because I've never seen one and I don't want to see one at all. So I don't know what the hell is going on right there in those red rooms. But if those are real, then it's going to be a serious issue that I cannot show you guys anything of, because I can show you guys like a picture of the hidden.
So what they're trying to tell me is that on the dark web, you can watch people get 187, 181, 187, act them up. So you know what I mean? Stuff filmed right on TV. Craziness. This is what our world has become, folks. Lord, how do I teach them to fish? Praying for repentance doesn't do any good, because we have to repent ourselves before anybody else will repent. School is definitely in, folks. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance. You are God's soldier. How you choose to react, with your sword or with your tongue or with the mighty pen, all are worthy. You are all worthy. This I say in Jesus' name, amen. You listen to AMKS, Goddess Radio, saying what you think, too afraid to stay. Grow up, humanity. Stand up, humanity, universe. Find something to fight for, or you will die for everything. Meow.